Welcome to BISP Solution webinar. Today we will discuss the transactional process for Fusion Financial Accounting, account receivables, and present the use case of BISP Group. So let's move to today's agenda. In day 3, the webinar agenda is Miscellaneous Receipt Setup and Process, Chargeback Setup and Transaction Creation, and then Receipt Badge creation in spreadsheet and process. Moving to the next slide. So, as per the business requirement in miscellaneous receipt creation, according to the needs of business, any non-business transaction receipt must be accounted for by business user in the application. So we will create miscellaneous receipt. And second requirement as per business requirement is chargeback transaction creation. As per business requirement, in the case customer makes partial payment, the application must allow for new due date to be set for remaining balance amount, right? So that is the requirement of business user. And third, as per the business requirement, the user are able to bulk upload payment collections from customer and create receipt within the application, right? So move to the next slide. So miscellaneous receipt setup, for that first step we had to create receivable activities. So we had to create a receivable activities. That navigation will be setting an action. Select the setup scope as financials, and out there we will search for manage receivable activities under receivables, right? So that is the navigation path, and out there we will select activity type as miscellaneous cash, or you can say a miscellaneous revenue, right? So that revenue account we had to select as miscellaneous, and provide the GL accounting source and activity GL account, right? So that I have already provided that in the application. So let us navigate to the application and see the receivable activities related to miscellaneous receipt setup, right? So let us navigate to that. Log in with the user credential. Log in with the user credential. Here we are. I have logged in. From setting and action, setup and maintenance, select the scope setup as financials, and out here in the receivables, manage receivable activity. That is the required task, right? So let us select that. Search with the BISP receivable activities I have already created. Save search. So this is the miscellaneous cash receipt. right? So let's select that. Activity type as miscellaneous cash, and I have defined the name. I have provided the name, I have provided my business unit, then I have provided the name and the description, and activity type as miscellaneous cash. And out here the accounting, I have selected the GL accounting source, right? So source is GL account source, and activity GL account, right? So that is the my GL account. If I select that, that is the miscellaneous revenue, right? I have defined the miscellaneous revenue out here. And the tax source code I have defined as a none. As per requirement, if there is any requirement, then activity you should define the liability tax rate code and asset tax rate code, right? So that is the activity type you can select. So I have not selected anything like that, so set none and save and close. That is the one requirement, that you should do configuration while creating miscellaneous receipt, right? So that is a one requirement. And from here, from navigator, navigate to account receivable. So it's a receivable, and out here the account receivable, select out here as account receivable. From the task panel, create receipt. By default the standard receipt will be there. Select out here as miscellaneous, right? In the standard receipt you can see the customer account will be there, right? So you will apply that any receipt to the customer, whatever you have collected from the customer, right? So why the miscellaneous receipt? So miscellaneous receipt in the account receivable, the miscellaneous receipt lets the record cash received that isn't related to receivables. This includes non-invoiced items such as refunds, investments, interest, income, and stock sales that are unrelated to outstanding debit items, right? So that is and the distribution will be, we have already defined the distribution account in the previous through receivable activities. The receivable activities that you have assigned to the miscellaneous receipt determines the default distribution set and accounting, right? So that is the distribution set creates the default account distribution for the entered receipt amount, right? So let us create one miscellaneous receipt. I have selected the receipt type as miscellaneous and status as new, and my business unit is BISP Solutions Inc Miami, and the receipt method, I'll select the receipt method, say EFT manual, right? So select that EFT manual, provide a receipt number. I usually provide one of the numbers at 07755, right? So that is the number, and here the receivable activity, right? So that is miscellaneous cash receipt that we have defined through receivable activities. As soon as we have defined you can provide the reference details, right? So I will provide enter the amount, say $500, right? So the deposit, other things are not a mandatory one. There is a reference out here. In the reference there is a type, right? So that is various types are there for the payment. So using the optional reference selection to identify the miscellaneous receipt as a payment, receipt or remittance, right? So that is the and if I select reference type as payment, the check number records in the payables are written from the same bank account as the remittance account entered for this receipt, right? So, and if I select payment batch, if I select a payment batch, then batch number for the payment batch created in the payables that have the same bank account as this receipt, right? So that is the reference. And if I select receipt, if I select a receipt, then the receipt number that have the same bank account as this receipt, right? So receipt number you can provide it out here. And if I select a remittance, right? So if I select a reference as a remittance, the remittance batch number that have the same bank account as this receipt. So I don't provide any of the reference, just I'll leave it blank. That is not my requirement. So that's, and save this. Right, so save this and save and close. From here you can query manage receipts. I have already created a save search, so you can see the miscellaneous receipt type is miscellaneous and the activity is miscellaneous receipt, right? So if I select that, so you can see there is no customer out here, right? So that is the, so out here the status has been cleared, right? So that is, and save and close. So edit the distribution. If I want to edit the distribution, I can edit out here. So 100% the account which we have defined out there, miscellaneous revenue, right? So that activity we had defined. Save and close, right? So this is all about the miscellaneous receipt. Now moving to the next topic is chargeback, right? So let us move to the slide. Chargeback setup. Again, in the chargeback setup, the first step is to create a receivable activity, and in the receivable activity we have to select the activity type as adjustment, right? So we have to select the activity type as adjustment. Out there, we in the previous slide we have selected the miscellaneous cash as the activity for creating the miscellaneous receipt. In the chargeback setup, basically we will select the type as adjustment and provide the GL account source and activity GL account, and the navigation will be same as we have discussed. So let us move to the application now. I have already defined that. So setup and maintenance, from setting and action, and from here set up as the financials, receivables, manage receivable activity. From the save search, I will select my chargeback adjustment, right? So that is the receivable activity. Out here I selected my business unit and provided the chargeback adjustment account, and activity type is adjustment, right? So, and the GL source as GL activity, right? So I have provided GL activity and the GL activity code, right? So that is, again I have provided the same, and save and close, right? So that is the requirement, and system will generate the chargeback transaction automatically. We had not created any transaction type, right? So it will create automatically. So let us do the transaction related to chargeback. So let us navigate to the billing work area. We will create a one transaction and apply. First we will navigate to the transaction billing work area and create a one transaction, right? So let us create a one transaction. I will select that as invoice and manual, and select that bill as ABC. Search. So ABC software, application software, right? So, and let us give 15 days, right? So that is, say, just hold on. I will provide that particular date. So this is the due date, so that it can be better understand. So provide that due date, right? So, and in the lines I will select memo line. So that memo line is external ERP training, and I will provide say amount as 100 hours. So that is the amount, right? So that is the due date is 15th, payment term as net 15, and today is the due date, right? So, and save the same. Right, and I will complete and review. So my transaction number is 71766 is my transaction number, and I will navigate from here. That is my favorite. I am using the favorite in the receipt work area. So what is the use of this chargeback, right? So if I usage of this chargeback in the receivable, chargeback service creates chargeback as a new debit item for the transaction amount that remains due, right? So let us create receipt. So let us create a receipt. So we have created invoice with $15,000. Now I will create a standard receipt, right? So let us create a standard receipt. I will select receipt method as EFT manual and provide the receipt number 11110 is my receipt number. Say the customer has provided me amount that is $12,000. He had made the payment, right? So rest amount he will pay in later, right? So the due date is today, is the maturing date of that particular invoice, right? So I will select the name, that is ABC. Select that, say OK, select the same, select the bank, right? So save and apply manually, right? So search, so we have created this one, right? So that is 15,000 and the date is today's date, sorry, it's a due date is today's date. Select that, done. So 3,000 due amount is there, right? So the due amount is 3,000. You can see the balance due. The customer has requested to close this particular original transaction and create new transaction with the new due date, right? So he will give the balance amount by, say, as per collector, that will be a 7. After the 7 days he will make the payment, or 3 or 4 days after that he will make the payment. So we will save the same, right? We will save the, and through actions create chargeback. So the receivable chargeback creates chargeback as the new debit items for transaction amount that remains due. For example, after applying the payment to an invoice, if the customer either short pays or takes an unauthorized deduction, the user can create chargeback for the remaining amount. The process closes the original invoice and creates new chargeback invoice for the difference, right? Or you can say, if a customer doesn't pay a full amount or takes an unauthorized deduction after payment that have been applied to an invoice, the receivable chargeback service can create a new debit item called chargeback for a remaining amount. This process closes the original invoice and generates new chargeback invoice for the difference, right? So that is chargeback. Let us create a chargeback. Let us create a chargeback, right? So out here I will select the type as chargeback and distribution combination, as we have in the activities we have selected that same, right? So it is coming from there, and I will provide the due date. So by 31st of August he will make the payment, and provide the reason, right? So small amount reason, small amount remaining, the reason, and I will provide a comment as per collector and customer due date, new due date is provided against invoice number. What is the invoice number? This is the invoice number, right? And save and close. So new chargeback transaction has been created. This is the number, chargeback number. Copy this and let us navigate to the billing work area. From here, from the favorites, I am going to the transactional billing work area. Let me save and close. Navigate to the billing work area. Manage transactions. I have already saved search, and from here you can see, here we are. So this is the chargeback we have created. Just this is the, here we are. So you see the chargeback account has been created. We have provided the comment out here. This is the comment we have provided, right? And you can preview the transaction. Here we are. So transaction has been created. The chargeback reason has been given, right? So that is the chargeback, right? And save and close. And if I original transaction, it will drill to my original transaction. Just select that. So you can see the original transaction. And from here, action, you can view the balance. So you can see the 15,000 is my amount. The receipt is $12,000 and adjustment of 3,000, and the balance remain for the original invoice transaction is 0, right? So balance has been zeroed. Say yes, say done. So you can go and say, go to this receipt work area. Create receipt. If I select a receipt, say this is the receipt, so receipt 123, just provide the number, say 3000, and select the name as ABC. Search that. So this is my customer. Select the site, select the bank, and open add receivables. Search with that. You will find, just hold on, add open receivables, search, include chargeback, right? So if I search with that, include chargeback, search with that. So just hold on, here we are. You can view this transaction when you include that, otherwise you will not view that. Include charge, and payment terms is immediate, right? So that is the chargeback. You can select, add, done, right? So you can apply the same. Right, so that is the way you can apply. So I just cancel that. And let us move to the next topic, that is receipt batch creation in spreadsheet process. Let us navigate to receipt work area. Since we are in the receipt work area, from here create receipt in spreadsheet, right? So we will select the create receipt through spreadsheet. Let us select that, and I will download that in, just hold on, desktop, create receipt batch, save it down. An ADFDI file will be downloaded, that is application development framework desktop integrator file will be get downloaded onto the system. Let us open that. Let us log in with the credential, user credentials. So the business unit is BISP Solution Inc. Miami is the business unit, and the batch date is today's date, and the accounting date is today's, and deposit date is also today. Let us select the batch source. I will select as cash and check deposit, right? So give a batch name. Let us give a batch name as 454565. 454565 is my batch, and the method search with that. So I will select this cash and check deposit. And the remittance bank, I will select my remittance bank. That is Bank of America, New York branch. And I will select 5 receipt out here, total 5. And I will provide the amount as total amount as say $30,000, right? So that is the $30,000. Out here the sequence number, I will select the first sequence number and provide the receipt number. I will provide the receipt number. Out here I will select the check number as my receipt number, just giving the check number as 745621, right? So that is the receipt number, and the receipt amount I am providing as $10,000. As soon as I fill the information out here, the 10,000, only 20,000 remains, right? So that is the, and you can see the entered, right? So counting is there, 1 entered, 2, 3, 4 5, right? So and out here I will select the receipt date and the accounting date. So conversion rate and currency is USD, and I will select the customer name. Let us give a customer name. Name as ABC. Search with that. ABC application software. And select the customer site, double click that, just hold on. ABC. This one is my customer, that is 70127. Select that. And the customer site. Here we are, customer site, select that. And out here I'll provide the reference amount and reference type. So that is my transaction number, and the transaction, that is in transaction number I have to provide, and the amount, applied amount, right? So that is the applied amount. Say 10,000, I want to apply to 10,000, and I have to provide the transaction number. Let us complete this one and we will provide the transaction number. Let's move to the application and see the transaction numbers, outstanding transaction numbers. Let us navigate, selecting this as a business unit, as a save search, using the save search. Right, so let me select this one as the one of the invoice, the past due as 27, and this is the debit amount, right? So let me select the same, as transaction number is 3500, right? Select that, and I will provide the number, that is 3500, right? So 3500, this is the transaction number, and provide the other details. Quickly fill the other details. I will provide the details. So this is basically Excel based, so you can create multiple receipt and I'll provide the amount. This is say 7,000, 10,000, 10,000. This is 27, right? So this is 27 and 10. Just hold on. So we can apply to this invoice basically. This application we can apply to this invoice, right? So we will select some of the portion in this also. So 3.5, that is 503. This will be basically done by the client itself. So to demonstrate that how the things can be done in the application, so let us provide the same out here. So copy this amount application out here, reference amount, and out here I will select that transaction as 503, 503, and the transaction as this, right? So let us provide the receipt number, change the receipt number also. Say it is 22 and say 23, and this is say 8, say 8, right? So we have provided all the receipt details, and in the controlling, I think so some amount is, so we have entered 47, right? So let me check it down. Yes, 47. Let me reduce that. Actually it will be provided by the business user, right? So we're just testing the same. Oh my god, sorry. So what we are having, it should be reduced. Just hold on. 17,000, it is more than 17,000, right? So minus 5,000. Let me select with the minus 5,000, and now minus 5,000, right? So make it that way. Say it is 37,000, right? So 37,000. This is 0. Just copy this out here and match with the reference, right? Select that and upload the same, right? So total count is 5. This is the 5, and the total amount is $37,000, right? So that is the collection, and within that particular reference I have given sorry, the reference I have given is 37 and the invoice details I have provided, right? So let us upload the same and see in the application how things happens out there. Upload that, say OK. Okay, the row inserted successfully, right? So, and the batch number is 454565, right? That is the batch number, right? So we are given the batch name as a number out here. So let us navigate to the receipt work area. So let us go to the receipt. So here we are, our 454565. If I go out here, select that, so you can see the details, right? So here you can see the receipt number, right? So this is the receipt number, and applied to the transaction you can see, and out here you can see the 5 receipts has been created. And if I select this one, here we are, reference number, right? So you can see this, right? So just save this and just post from here. You can post from here itself, or you can select this and post from here. I'll select and post from here. The post process has been submitted. ID number is this, right? So let us re-navigate to receipt work area. Now navigate to manage receipts, and I'm using the same search. So my just hold on, that is batch number, right? So that batch number, we will search with the batch number. Here we have batch number. So select that one of the transaction, that is receipt. So we have to apply the same. Open the add receivables, search with that. I don't know why didn't it apply. You can apply manually from here itself, right? So there are different options. It should apply. You can just enable that, done. So you can see the applied amount out here, right? So selecting the transaction number should be 500, right? So we have selected some different number, right? So that's why it get applied. Okay, we have selected this reference. Okay, that's why. Okay, the transaction number is 500. So let us apply the same and save and close. Right, so let me select unapplied. These are unapplied, and I think so this is also unapplied. Select that and add open receivables, search. From here you can select this transaction, add done, and you have applied to that, right? So save and close. So let us select one more. So you can see the amount as unapplied, right? So unapplied amount, from here add application, that is 503, search with that, here we are, select that. So now $23,000 is remaining, right? Save and close. And now you can see the applied, right? The amount has been applied, the status has been applied. And out here, we will select from here the receipt number and add open receivables, search with that. Just select this, add done. Right, so save and close. Similarly, last not least, we will also apply the same. Right, so open this, add open receivables, search with that. You apply to this transaction, that is 3500, right? So select that, add, done. So only $10,000 remains, right? So save and close. So this way you can upload receipt using batch. So this is the batch we have created. This is the batch number 454565 1 2 3 4 5, right? So in the spreadsheet, as you can see here, that is 454565, the 5, and these are the receipt numbers, right? So that has been uploaded in the application. Through this bulk upload or batch, using the batch, you can upload in a one go, right? So creating a one by one, you don't have to create one by one, and it will be as a standard receipt and it will be a manual one, right? So that is how we can create receipt in spreadsheet. So that's it for today, and thanks for participating in today's webinar regarding transaction process related to AR in Fusion application. So this concludes today's session. Thank you very much.